Hello everybody and welcome back to Heartfilia Railway. Hope you're all doing okay. I realise it's been a little while since I've done a video. Things have been a little bit, well, different here. There's been a lot going on. And in regards to that, today I'm going to be making this new Metcalfe kit, the Ramshackle Workshop from Metcalfe. And the idea is that this is going to be a small industrial building, which is going to sit in that gap next to school, between the pub and the school, to break up the rows of terraced housing and just to make it a little bit different. So we'll be doing some shots of this and hopefully you'll enjoy it and we'll see what it gets to look like in the end. Right, so let's crack it open and let's get building. Right, let's see what this kit has to offer, shall we? So let's get it open. See what's in here. This is a brand new Metcalfe kit. It only came out a couple of months ago. And I thought it would be a good idea just to break up my terraced housing. So obviously I've never built one of these before because it's a brand new kit. Okay, put that to the side. So we've got, oh look, we've got some plastic bits to do as well. We've got some glazing. Looks like we've got two building sheets, 3 building sheets, and instructions. Oh, in colour! Would you look at that? They're in colour. I've never seen a Metcalfe instructions in colour. That will make it a lot easier when determining what to pick out and what to use. I mean, look at that. They're all in colour. That's quite neat. And these are stapled now. This is in a booklet as well. So it's not just 2 A4 sheets thrown in. It's a nice stapled together booklet. I'm very, very impressed by that. The fact that it's a booklet that you can keep in one side. You don't need to be constantly opening sheets and folding things over and keeping them together. You can just refer to a booklet and a colour booklet. So yeah, top marks Metcalfe. That is amazing. And yep, even with, I don't know if you can see that very well, but it's got arrows of where to point things and where to put things. So it's a lot more detailed. The instructions are far better than they were before. So I'm very, very impressed with that. It's going to make it a lot easier. And that's a good development. So well done, Metcalfe. That is really good to see that you're developing and you're making this easier for people to make. So I'm really quite happy with that. So that's really good. I'm actually really happy with this. I'm quite chuffed, and I'm amazed that silly things in life. Right, anyway, so let's open our booklet and find out what we've got to do. Oh, each window has a corresponding window frame. Of course it does. Look, even, oh yeah, I'm just loving the instructions. The instructions are so nice. They're so simple and easy to follow, and oh, I'm in love with them. I could go on for about days. I live a very sad life, clearly. Right. Oh, and look, all the windows are now labelled as well. Nice. So, I am going to speed up the video here and crack on with getting this main building ready. So that's all the window frames done here. I do have this window frame 6 here, but I can't physically find a window frame for it in the sheets. So unless I'm just being completely blind, which is, you know, entirely possible, I will look for that later. One thing I have noticed though, when flicking through the instruction, is that we get several different doors. So we can choose which doors we want. According to this, there's door frame 1, or there's door frame D1A. So different doors. So it completely depends on which door we want. So we can have D1, DF1, D1A. So from what I can tell, depending on what type of door you want on your factory or whatever it's going to be, it depends on what glazing you use, which is kind of cool because that makes it everything isn't the same, and you can just personalize it a little bit. So I'm thinking we're going to go for this D1 door here, this triple door, which does have glazing on it. So I'm using door D1. There are 2 sets of doors for the main ground floor opening, D1 and D1A. So that's D1 and that's D1A. So it's that one or that one. Right, okay. Glazing DF1, so that's really door floor 1, fits D1A, which is that one. So DF1 is that glazing there, that one fits that one, so we're not using that one, so we'll put that aside. DF2 fits D1 and D3, so that's D1, so that's DF2, so that's the one we need there. DF3, what's that one for? Is that not telling me just yet? DF3, I think that might be a different door. If it's D1, D4 and D4, it's that one there. Right, okay. So DF3 might go on that one there, but those little ones fit these 3 doors. Bricked up doorway and door frame, blah blah blah. Okay, cool. So I'm going to get these little ones onto here. There is a jet going over my house. Thank you, RAF. Could you possibly go away, please? You're making a lot of noise. Please? This is what you get for living in the flight path of a RAF base. Yeah, lots of loud jets on a morning. And seriously, go away. Making a lot of noise, trying to do a video here. So he gets louder. It's typical, isn't it? Like, seriously, go away! Trying to do a video. Thank you. Ignore the jet if you can hear that on the video. So yeah, I'm going to get these attached to this. And then this obviously goes into the door frame by the looks of it, but I'm going to have to double check to make sure. And then I've got the roof windows to do as well, so I'll cut the roof section out and do the roof glazing as well. So we'll just skip and we'll get on with that. I do apologise, the camera keeps changing because sometimes the camera keeps falling off of its stand. Naughty camera. So yeah, this is really weird because the instructions tell me to line this up and then trim it down when it's dry. So I'm just going to line that up like that because that's the roof lining. And then, as it says, trim it down when it is dry. So I'll leave that to one side. And also this door here, just quickly done this door. Actually, there you go. Right, step 1 is we have to do the main building. Whoop-de-doo. So what do we have to do? Start by fitting all the windows. But don't fit the doors. WF3 on all upper windows and WF2 and 1 on the bottom windows, on the main ones. Okay, so you fit by doing that. You make an inner floor and you fit it to some sort of base. Okay. So my window should be relatively dry. So let's crack on with that then, shall we? So we're looking for this building then. Main building walls, it's called. Right, let's crack on, get these windows fitted, and see what we can do. So, just made the little base there out of the cardboard, obviously. Now it's asking me to make, like, I'll show you what I mean. So basically on these instructions, don't know how well you can see this, but you see the little red dotted lines there? It actually shows you where to put the glue, which is really useful actually. It tells you where to put things. So now it wants me to put my doors in, apparently. So I have to fix door frames together. So D1 goes on to door frame 1. Makes kind of sense. And then D2 to door frame 2. So we've got a side door and we've got a back door. So we've got a back door and like a front door. And we've also got like what looks like a loading door up here, which I don't know if it's going to have like a crane or something. So we'll find out. And then it's asking me to build a floor in here. There's a specialised bit for a floor, which looks interesting. And we then continue building the building. So let's get these door frames glued together while this just put this over here for a few moments to dry. We'll get the door frames installed and we'll get the floor in. So I've just noticed something which is really kind of cool on this door. Not only is the door able to open and shut, but if you look really closely at the bottom of the door, it's actually dirty. So it's like, because it's an industrial building, they put simulated dirt on there, like weathering dirt. I thought that's really kind of cool. The fact that they've gone to such detail. So it looks like it's been used. It's not just a normal door, it's actually got dirt on it. That's really cool. I just thought I'd point that out to you. I'm going to get these doors in now anyway. I'm having a bit of trouble getting this to stick a little bit, but this all slots in together like a bit of a jigsaw puzzle, which is kind of nice. Like you've got this little flap that comes down here to support the floor, which you don't get in some of the other kits. You just put the floor in, and you have to rely on the windows to hold it up, which is a bit different, but it's nice to have a supporting flap for when it glues. The doors actually support it as well. This wall's having a little bit of trouble just staying where it is. It's been silly. So now I've got to fit an upper door to this, which is that D4, which is over here. Which I imagine is for these glazings here. Yeah, it is. Okay, that's not bad. So we have an upper door, we have a down door. Cool. What was DF1 for again? Oh yeah, DF1 was for the other doors, the other type of doors that we're not using, which is fine. So yeah, let's fit the upper door, D4, and fix it to the back door opening, which is this one here. And then only fit bricked B door, BD1 and BD2 to this opening if you are not attaching the side building. Oh, I get it. So there's a door here, which has, obviously this building has some sort of side building on the side. If you don't attach the side building, you have the option to put a bricked up door in there. So it looks like it was a door and it's no longer a door. That's cool. Well, I want the side building on the side of this. So I don't think there's an option to put a door in there. Because if the side building is going on there, there's really no point. Is there? If we're putting the side building on, no point putting a bricked up door and putting the side building on. So we'll just leave that open. We'll leave that open. That's fine. And then you follow the inner right. You follow this triangle all together, and you put in the gable flushes for the roof. Rightio. Okay. No problem. No problem. Cool. Right. So let's get this glued in. Let's get that door in. Let's get it all closed up, and then we can wait for that to dry before we put the roof on and stuff, and we will then progress onto the side building. So let's crack on and get that finished. I better keep that booklet open to refer to. That would be a good idea, wouldn't it? And luckily the aeroplane has gone away now, so it's going to make it a lot easier to concentrate. Right, let's crack on, shall we? The first little boiler house. I think it's the boiler house. I'm not sure. It's a building. It's a building. It's quite nice. I like it. It's kind of tiny. It's a lot smaller than I thought it would be, but it's all right. It's getting there. Right. What's our next? Thing? Oh yeah, we have to get in the gable struts, which are on one of these sheets somewhere. Where are they? This sheet's a little bit awkward to fold because it's got this little folding in bit like this, so it's a little bit awkward to handle. So apparently they should be like a greeny yellowy colour. Ah, there they are, inner gable support. Let's get them in. We can get the roof on, and then once we have the roof on, I'm going to let this dry. So I'll go and make myself a cup of tea. Oh, nice cup of Yorkshire tea, I think. What's your favourite tea, guys? Mine's definitely Yorkshire. It's got to be Yorkshire in my house, nothing else. And then we'll let this all dry, and after letting this dry and having my cup of tea, watching maybe a bit of television for half an hour or so, I'll come back to do the next part, because there's one thing I've learned about doing Metcalfe kits and kits with glue and that over the years is let the bloody thing dry before before you attempt to do much more, or else you are just literally going to ruin it. So you put these in here, matching the lines up to this little, whatever you want to call it, this little slot, this whatever that is, and that slots through there into there. So according to these instructions, you put these on. That's going to hold like a beam. What does it call it? Calls it a beam. A ridge beams to support the roof, which is kind of neat. You don't just plonk it on top anymore. You've actually got a support in the middle, and it looks like it actually does. Yeah, it comes out of the building, so it comes out the front of the building. So let's see if we can find this inner ridge support thingamabob. Oh, it's these magical looking things here. So quite fancy at the end, little curvy bits. So what do we do with these? We fold them over and glue them back to back. Okay, so let's see how that works. This is a new thing. So we fold them over, right, like so. Oh, I see it. You fold them over and they go like that, and it makes like a little fancy bit that comes out. Okay, okie dokie. I get it. Oh, there's a little bit of excess on there. Should probably get rid of that. So we put these down here like this. Right, so we fold these over and like so. Sound effects and all. Fold these over. I'm going to put these down here and then put my squasher down on them. So we squash them down easily and evenly so they stay down. Just hold it there for a few seconds for them to stick. Not to my little glass mat thing. Right. And then these stick back to back on one each other to become the central support beam for the roof. Okay. I kind of like that idea, the fact that it's got a central support beam in the middle. And that it gives you some more extra structural support, making the entire kit nice and strong, of course. So, there we go. And then that should sit in there. So, I'll put a dab of glue in there. A dab of glue here. And then I'm just going to gently put this in place before I go make myself a cup of tea. So, going into the slot. Going in the slot. In you go. Oh, it's very, 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 very tight to get this in. Oh, it's really not liking it. It's really not liking that. It's quite difficult to get that into place, actually. Very secure. I'm not going to give you that. I'm not going to lie, it's very secure. There we go. In you go. In you go. Just needs to push this little gable insert up a little bit that we had before. It's almost as if it's too tight to get in here, but at least it's secure, that's for sure. Is that all the way down? Looks all the way down. Keep that slotted in its slot there. So it's very tight. It's actually more stuck in there with just sheer force, to be fair, than it is glue. But hey, it's secure. It's secure, so it works. Right, time to leave this to go dry. Leave it to dry for a good half an hour. And go make a cup of tea. And then we'll continue with getting the roof on. And then doing the side building. So I'll be back in about half an hour, second or two for you, to continue and to move on to our roof for this main building. And then doing our little side building. So I'll see you, for me, in half an hour, for you in about 2 seconds. Hello, welcome back. So this has been drying for about 45 minutes now, so it's nice and solid. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just literally cut down this, because this has had time to dry as well. The instructions did say to wait until it was dry and then trim down the glazing. So I'm just going to quickly trim the glazing down on my roof windows, like so. As instructed. There we go, that's that side done. And just down the side here. There we go. Move that to the side. There's just a little bit on here that just needs to be, a couple of millimetres on here that needs taking off. There we go. There we go. Right, okie dokie. So what's our next thing to do? So fold the 4 tabs in the windows over. So first, look at the roof. So it looks like this sits on top of the actual roof, like it was like an extra addition. So that's kind of cool. So you fold these tabs over to hold. I imagine to hold it in place or something by the look of it. I'm not quite sure myself on this one. Put a bit of glue in, put a bit of glue in, put a bit of glue in. Bloop, bloop. So this sits on the top over the actual roof, like that, and that sits on top over there. And then according to the instructions, this sits on top over there. So it's, and then you've got a few little window tops and leading strips to put on just to hide the cardboard, which is quite nice. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to do the strips of the cardboard over the top and that a little bit later, just because I want to get this all glued down and dried before I do any of the extra detail work. So let's get our main roof. I'll put plenty of glue on this top beam up here to hold it in position. Let's get our main roof onto our building. Right, let's get our main roof on. There we go. There we are. The roof is on. And then we're just going to put the little windows at the top there, which just sits over the window holes there. Right, so leave this to dry over on one side somewhere, put it out away over there to dry. And now we're working on the side building, apparently. Oh, side building. So it looks like we've got like a little side house that goes on the house side of the building, which is quite nice. It's quite a large building as well by the looks of it. It goes on the side, it's got like a chimney and a boiler house. So this is called the boiler house. It's got a chimney. There's also some stairs and a small like outbuilding on the outside of the building as well. So we've got 2 other buildings to put on. We've got one boiler house and like a little what looks like a storage room or stairwell. It's called side building, so we'll crack on with that. So we're doing the side building first. So the boiler house is the last thing to be done. This is like a little bit that sits on the side where the door is. The door that will get bricked up. So let's crack on with doing the side building. Pretty self-explanatory. You just make a little side thing, and this little thing here, it's like a little grate, so it's that's where the stairs are obviously going to come off. I had a quick look back here. It's the stairs attached to this like little balcony thing, so that's where the stairs go up. So that's obviously access to the upstairs building in its own little way. It's kind of a nice little offset. I like the fact that it's a different shape. It's quite unusual. kind of nice. So, right, now we crack on with the boiler house. So according to our instructions, we are building another little house on this side here. There's like a little house, a few doors in it and stuff like that. And then a lovely chimney to make. There's actually a section for the chimney to slot in, and we eventually get something that looks a bit like this, guys. So that's what we're aiming for, something like this here. Which should be fun. Nice large chimney to tower over the buildings. Quite nice. So let me have a quick look at what we have to do. We've got boiler house doors, we've got side doors, we've got some floors. And then obviously we have to position it on the side of the building. It doesn't actually look like it has a designated position on the side of the building. So you can push it back a bit or bring it forward a little bit. Not quite sure how I want this just yet to attach the side of the building. So I might build it and then attach it at last. Just to see how far it goes back. Because I don't want it to be going back too far. I don't want it going like forward too far. Probably somewhere in the middle. Depends how big the chimney is. Because the chimney does overlap the boiler house according to the instructions. So we'll have a play with it and see what we can come up with. Right, so let's crack on with making this boiler house. Right, so this is the little boiler house that I've just quickly made up. There is a skylight here to put into here, but this needs to dry before I can cut the excess down, much like what we did with the other roof skylights. So I'm going to put that on later when I've cut it down and finished it. So this is built up. It's quite easy. You make a box, basically. It's pretty simple. My next task is to make a chimney, which is going to fit in this little cut out section here. So it's like a little recess. So this roof is flush here and the chimney sticks out of this here. So I imagine that this building would have had like maybe a steam engine in it. It's called the boiler house, so a steam engine or a boiler, something like that, to power the workshop. I mean, I've seen a workshop that's very similar to this at Blist Hills Victorian Museum, which is a beautiful place to go. You should go if you like your history and your Victorian stuff. And they had like a boiler house on the side of a steam engine in it, which powered like a workshop, and it was actually a sawmill. It was pretty cool. So yeah, the chimney's going to go here. So next up is to build the chimney, which by the looks of the instructions, you build in looks like you build it in 2 sections, and it's got a little bit of decoration on it, which is kind of nice. And then you build some steps up to the boiler house. And then you do the steps on the side and you do the decorations, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to crack on and I'm going to build the chimney. Right, and that's the little chimney made. A little bit tricky on the top, and I like the fact it's a two-part chimney, so it's not just like straight up. It's actually got some shape and definition to it. So my next job is to put the boiler house and the chimney together. Put the boiler house on the side of the building where I want it. Put the little skylight here on the side of the boiler house, and then put the kit together. So the individual bits put it together. We've also got a few steps to make, but that's once the boiler house has been attached. So we can't put the steps on until the boiler house has been attached. So let's crack on and get the boiler house all finished off and onto the finished model. I'm going to start by just literally cutting down the glazing on this skylight, which is now dried, so that we can get this on the roof. A little bit fiddly, but yeah, it's not the end of the world. But sharp scalpel knife would do it. I'll get this glazing just on the roof, bit of dab of glue here, and there we go. Just a little bit of overflow there, that's fine. Push that out. Oops, sorry chimney. And we'll get the glazing in there like so. Not too shabby. Right, so I'll deliberately put the seams of the chimney at the actual back, because they'll be sitting at the back of the model. Like so, because I don't want them to be seen by, don't want to be deadly on the front. So let's get the chimney attached to the boiler house. When I've stopped throwing it around the room. Get it on here. There. I want my seam at the back. Like so. Right, so that's where the boiler house is. This is our main building. And now to position this, so do I want it all the way back here? Do I want it at the front? I think I'm going for like more of a centralized location. So like here maybe. So there's a bit of an indent here. I mean, I could put it all the way back, but it seems a bit too far back. So yeah, I'm going to pull it forward a little bit. So I'm going to have it just a couple of mil off the back. So there's a little bit of unusual shape to it. So let's get the boiler house on. I know you're supposed to build the boiler house on the side of the building, but I didn't want to do that until I knew where it was going, so that I could position it how I wanted it. And that's what's so good about Metcalfe kits, is you can position stuff and you can personalize stuff to how you want them to be. You don't necessarily have to comply with what everybody else does, so you can personalize things. So get that on there like that. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. And I'll just put that over there just to dry, or that just becomes solid. So now we've got some steps to build, and all these to put together to make some steps up to the boiler house apparently. And then there's some nice little walls to put on there. Oh yeah, that should be quite fun. And then obviously we've got the plastic stairs to put on the side. Although, I'll be honest with you, I'm not liking the green colour. So what I might do is, I might actually paint them before I build it. However, let's do the steps first. Steps are super easy. Okay, right, just reading over the instructions again to make sure that all is good. Yeah, that's the walls there. Okie dokie. So, 2 of these makes 1 step. So, it's literally just stacking pieces of card. Great YouTube content, Will. Anyone's ever done a Metcalfe kit knows what they like to do when they make stairs like this. And they're making it all, got to get it all perfectly precise, or it doesn't work. We all go nuts over it. So these are little access steps up to the boiler house, which is kind of cool. So you don't have to jump up the ledge, although there is a ledge on here, which I imagine is for machinery. And I imagine if there is a steam engine in there, that's where you put like your coal and your stuff, and you know how you access the engine. You need to maintain it and stuff like that. Because I'd like to think there is a steam train in this little boiler house. I'd like to think that it's like a steam engine in there, which is powering this little industrial workshop. Because that would make sense with its age and the theme that I'm going for. I mean, you know, you could think it's an old boiler which you'd find in like an old school or something. Or maybe you think it's a little shed. I mean, it's up to you. I mean, the chimney would indicate that it's got something to do with steam. So I would like to think that it's a steam engine in there. There we go. There's some steps. Oh, hey, how exciting. So now these apparently these attach to the chimney. Can't really see it there, so I'll move the model round slightly. These attach to the chimney and the boiler house like this. And then there's a little bit of, sit under there like that. Yeah, it sits under there like that. So I'm going to glue them down in a second. Yeah, it sits underneath the actual doorstep. Push all these down so they're all nice and secure. And then there's actually a little wall that you put around here just to hide them. And once I've done that, I'm then going to do something about those hobo green steps. Because I'm not a big fan of green, if I'm honest with you. I think they would look a lot better maybe black. Or even silver, so they look metal. But let's get these steps in place, shall we? Let's get the steps in. There we go. Steps are in. And now apparently there's some little walls to go around this, which are here. Let's cut these walls out. Steps inner wall, steps outer walls, and then there's capping stones. Yep. Oh, I see what you meant to do. You meant to wrap them around a little bit. Ah, right. So this bit is, you don't really need this little bit, so you do it that way. Okay. So you put a spacer in. Then you put the inner wall in like that to make like a little wall. Okie dokie. Fairly explanatory. Fairly explanatory. So you make it a little bit of spacer so it makes it a little bit thicker. Does make some sort of sense, I suppose. There you go, and then you put the cabin stones on top. There we go. Right, so while I let this building just kind of dry a little bit, I am going to go sort out these green stairs. If I can find some spray paint, I will spray paint these a different colour. As much as nice the green is, I would like them black instead. I'll be back very shortly with some different coloured stairs, hopefully. And we're back. So what I did is the stairs, I've built them, so all it basically is you just attach the banisters to the stairwell, like so. And that attaches to this door around here. So what I did is I took them outside. You remember they were like the horrible dark green colour, which I'm not a big fan of. So this doesn't really match the building, really. I mean, it matches the doors kind of, but it doesn't match the aesthetic of the industrial building. I just quickly prime them a light grey. Oops, a daisy. And then this will sit on the side of the building here. So I'm going to just quickly attach that, and we'll show you the final build in a moment's time. And there we have it, people. It's finished. Doesn't look too bad, actually. I mean, I'm not the best in the world at making this sort of thing. I mean, I've still got a long way to go when it comes to practicing and stuff like that. But I don't think that's a bad effort. So, overall impressions of the kit. I like it. I think it's good. I appreciate that it comes with colour instructions in a booklet. I like the fact that these doors are openable. So you can open them and shut them, so you can do your interiors. The only thing that lets it down a little bit is there was only 4 or 5 signs. There wasn't many. I would like to have seen a few more signs for a bit more customization, but it's not the biggest of issue. It's only a small building. I think it's an ingenious little design, and it's going to work rather well in its new home on the layout. Speaking of which, let's get it over and get it onto the layout. So here it is on the actual layout. And it fits rather nicely between the school and the pub. And it also just breaks up the skyline of the terraced housing just a little bit. So what I would eventually is I'm going to make like a small yard in front of it and stuff like that. Do some scenery around it. Make it look nice. Make it fit in so it's not just like it's sat on a bit of a wooden board. But no, I don't think that looks too bad. I mean, you come out of here, you can see it just there before you get to the pub. It does make a bit of sense that we would have a little bit of industry around here. So yeah, I actually really enjoyed making this. And it is a good little kit. And it is quite nice. So thank you for watching. It's been a pleasure to be back again. Remember to hit like, subscribe and leave a comment. Do subscribe for more. As you can see from here, it looks nice just to have something different in the background on that street. So it breaks up the skyline a little bit, which is really nice. I like the look of that. So yeah, don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to leave me a like on the video. And don't forget to leave me a comment. If you've got one of these kits, let me know. Show me how you did yours. I'm quite happy with that. I kind of like how that looks. And take care, and I will see you next time.